Good day, good day. Hello, this is Larry Richardson with Mastermind Wisdom Podcast number 36. We come to you this day with a special guest, a friend, a great mentor, as well as a great partner of mine and a wonderful artist by the name of Rick Pettway. We want to welcome Mr. Pettway. Let's give him a hand. All right. Thank you, Rick, for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Right. We're going to get right into it and chop it up a little bit, take a few moments and just kind of get the background of our special guest today, Larry Richardson, Mastermind Wisdom Podcast for Winners, Millionaire Mindset. So with that in said, we want to just again, Rick, thank you for taking out the time today to come and sit and let's chop it up and chat today. And in that information, we want to recognize that you are an artist. Visual artist, and a businessman. Background, basically, you've been in the financial services for how many years?
35.
And have retired. Mm-hmm. And that's the word we want to talk about. So one of the things that we recognize is that everyone has talent, and in developing your talent, you get an opportunity to do the thing that you love once you paid the price. And I believe, Rick, you have not only paid the price, but you got a little change coming back. So great. So Rick, let's start from the beginning. Let's tell us, how did you get into art? What was your?
Well, obviously.
Pull your mic up to you there. There you
go. Obviously, I got into art as a child.
Okay.
I started learning at the comic book stage as a little boy.
Okay.
Now, more recently, when I retired from the private sector almost 15 years ago, I got back into art full time.
Okay.
It ceased to be an avocation and became a vocation.
Right.
Again.
Right.
But my roots began years ago drawing pictures from comic books.
Okay.
And obviously, with when a kid does that and constantly does it all the time, it becomes a habit. So I learned to draw that way
from the comic book.
Right,
scripts.
and of course those skills and that experience expanded when I went to college, where I majored in art, and learned the history and the techniques, and obviously art is a huge field, a huge industry.
Absolutely.
So that was a great deal learned, and college kind of refined all that for me.
Okay.
But more recently, I've done a few children's books. I'm an illustrator artist.
Okay. Great.
And a gallery artist.
Okay.
So in my retirement, I do a combination of the two.
Great.
My mediums are watercolor, charcoal, oil paintings. I'm working on a large series of oil paintings right now.
Okay. Subject matter for the oil paintings?
Well,
the
the subjects for these oil paintings is Black history.
Okay.
And
well deserved.
Yeah, and
needed.
And that's the subject for most of my work.
Okay.
Growing up, I simply wanted to copy the pictures I saw in the comic books, and
right.
It was wonderful practice. But as you grow older and you become more familiar with society, life in general, your focus becomes more acute.
Yeah, agreed.
And I found that the field of Black history was endless, and I constantly have material to work from.
Oh, my great!
So
that's awesome.
Right now I'm working on a series on Black Seminoles.
And that is?
It's back in the day when America owned, when Southern Americans. Many Americans owned slaves.
Okay.
Black people were trying to get away any way that they could.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, slavery wasn't a thing that wasn't a popular thing.
Yeah, and those of us who lived in Florida, a lot of black slaves tried to escape to the north, some to the west, but a lot of the Florida slaves, runaways, my migrated to ran away to the Seminole tribes,
Right.
and which were local Indian
Indians
tribes.
in the tribe. Right.
And these tribes took them in.
Wow.
They many runaways, black runaways, became members of
Of
those
the tribe.
tribes.
So they accepted them freely, or was there any, based on your history,
Well,
were they accepted
well,
quickly, or was it a transition?
Well, for the most, it was they were accepted differently.
Right.
And a runaway slave continued to be, it wasn't completely free
Okay.
even as a Seminole.
Right.
They became part of a tribe as more as what's the term, as a ward of the tribe.
Got you.
And the relationship was more of a feudal type
I got you.
relationship
Got
where a runaway slave would do his share in that Seminole tribe. It's completely different,
Sure,
obviously, from
right.
being a slave, because
Right.
you could actually earn your keep.
Some type of optionals. They had options.
As a
right.
black Seminole.
Right.
And they became a part of the Seminole community.
Fascinating.
Even genealogically over time.
Right.
They married into the Seminole culture.
Right.
They developed as Seminoles.
Fascinating.
Literally.
Fascinating.
And it gives you, the material that you get, Black history isn't recorded as thoroughly as it should be.
Should be. Yeah. Well,
And but there is a lot of Black history out there, if you could find it. And as an artist, I form images based on that literature.
that literature that you've been studying.
Right. And I get impressions from experiences.
From that.
From
Well,
that history.
that's interesting, because obviously in this day and age, in our culture as we speak now, that seemed to be somewhat of a subject matter where they're trying to take away a little bit of our history, removing the history books and the things that are
Yeah,
recognized.
but you can't really erase history, particularly nowadays. What with the communication system these days, it's just
It's so
it was impossible to keep blacks from learning to read in 1850.
yeah.
So you're not going to deny. It's gonna be a tall task to keep people from learning
Right.
these things, the things that you
They
don't
need to
want
they
them to
want
learn,
to learn. Right.
these days.
Right.
It's going, it's just the society and the system we work under these days are just too far-reaching.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you have that desire and knowledge too. And obviously I'm spiritual in that respect. Some higher power is giving you the insight and image to do this specific project, which is obviously, I believe, is necessary, because you just explained, where the high cheekbones come from, because my great-grandmother was part Indian and black, and I got a chance to meet her, as a matter of fact, and I just had a relative, probably about a month ago, just re-AI'd my great-grandmother's image, and clearly you can see the long hair and the high cheekbone and the colors. There was a lot of Indian in her, and the fact that you just talked about specifically the Seminoles, from which is Miami, Florida, migration, which is a very, very interesting aspect of it. Question: I know you had a little debate, or not debate, but a insight on it when you were doing comic books, and because that was your interest. I do believe God gives people gifts, and from what I remembered, we conversated before. Did you see your ability to draw as a gift or a development of training, or how did you view yourself with
I
that?
saw it at that time. Obviously, I saw it as something that I simply enjoyed doing.
Okay.
And I wanted to be very, very good at it. I was inspired by the stories.
Okay.
In the comic books.
Okay. Okay.
The Thors and Spider-Man
Okay.
and all that. So I was struck by the realism that the artist was able to capture.
Ah,
You know,
okay, okay.
how do you get a body to bend that way simply by drawing
The
it?
anatomy,
Yeah,
the
simply by drawing it. So you work at something long enough, and you'll learn.
Okay, okay.
And that's basically what I did. I spent hundreds of hours simply drawing from those
Images that you
those
saw.
images. Ultimately, you start to create your own.
Okay,
You
good.
know, you start creating new superpowers and all that stuff.
Cool, cool.
So as a child, I simply developed it that way.
Okay.
And
Do you feel like based on that foundation and training, you've developed, we call it your voice, meaning you have a specific.
Well,
How do
it
you-
gave me a foundation.
Okay.
I mean, a voice is something that I developed later on.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I operate now.
Right.
Uh, uh, at the point when I transfer,
Transition.
transitioned
Sure.
from from simply drawing stuff that I like to see,
Okay.
and then drawing something that would be more meaningful, was the point when I realized that there were no black people in the movies I used in the movies I used to watch.
Great.
Where
Representation.
Yeah, where are the black cowboys? Where are the black gunslingers?
Right.
And there were no black superheroes in the comic books I read.
Okay.
And once I noticed that, and part of what I did in college was study history.
Right.
So you learn that we were there. We were everywhere.
Everywhere.
All
Absolutely.
the time.
Well,
We simply weren't recorded
I got you.
in
I
the
got
way
you.
that we should have been. So I decided that I wanted to explore that and
Wow.
and recreate that.
Great.
And do visual impressions of what I came away with.
Wow.
And that's kind of what formed the direction that I work towards or work in
Excellent.
now.
Excellent. Well, I know our audience wants to, based on the information you just shared with us and your background, as well as your educational growth and transitioning into the art right now, is definitely going to be interested in getting and looking at your development as well as your previous artwork. How can people get in contact with you, or where can they go to see the Rick Pettway's?
RickPettwayArt.com.
RickPettwayArt.com, ladies and gentlemen. This is where all of the history and the images and the voice of Rick Pettway is being able to be exposed and seen. So you want to go to that site immediately and download, order, and communicate with him, because we're building a community of people that recognize the value that these artists are doing. And Rick Pettway is one of the top, we believe, not only locally, but I believe will be nationally, if not nationally known, soon. So we're going to close this session, and we're going to go back and get into more detail of the art and what you've done with it, as well as where we're going to be going in the next few years, as well as what art is developing. Let me mention this to you, everyone. People not aware that art is probably one of the best investments a person can make. We do stocks, we do bonds, we do mutual funds. All of those things have speculative, which I mean, we say that can be risky. But art is probably one of the least risky investments you can make. And then we're going to talk about that. We're going to cover a little bit of that in our next session. So we want to again thank you, Rick, for coming, and we're going to talk about it and start another session on it. But we're going to end this session and get our people to come in and take a look at this.